everyone, welcome back. We have another dermatologist reaction video and I am joined by the lovely board certified dermatologist, Dr. Nina Desai.
Hi.
You can find her in Manhattan Beach, California, and I'll leave all her information in the description box. Today's video is a really fun one. We are looking at a woman named Monica and she's dealing with some stuff that I feel like I see people complain about all the time. She's got texture, she's got what she calls large pores. We even think she's got melasma, right? So there are a lot of things happening and I'm really excited to look at her routine.
Yeah, she's got some really good issues that we can talk about.
Hi Susan, my name's Monica. I'm 38 years old and I live in the Southwest. During the quarantine, I started to watch some videos. I found your channel and it really got me thinking about my skincare and how I really don't take care of it. I was just using facial cleanser, usually just whatever I found that looked good. I didn't really think about it too much, and then I'd follow it up with some witch hazel and moisturizer, but not always. So now I've been looking into different things and I've put together a skin routine, and I hope that you can review it for me and let me know if I'm making good choices. My biggest problems are I have brown spots here on my cheeks, on both sides, my nose, here on my forehead, and then I get breakouts here sometimes. Whenever I do get breakouts, they're always here in like the same spots. I think my skin is combination. It's pretty dry since I'm in the Southwest, but I do notice by the end of the day I sometimes get oily here and around my hairline, down here and my nose. And then I am starting to get some bumps down here, and I do get little bumps sometimes up here, but they're not really like pimples.
First, she said that before she was watching the video, she was just kind of not taking care of her skin. She was using witch hazel. I feel like it's such a trend to just pull out the Thayers and, you know, just like use a stringent toner basically, and you feel like you're clean and you're good to go. That's what people think is a skincare routine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what you don't realize is that you may actually be doing more harm than good, because what you're doing with that drying agent is you're really, you know, stripping the skin, and that can actually trigger more inflammation. And when you trigger more inflammation, you're more susceptible to things like breakouts and hyperpigmentation.
Right, and she was pointing out her hyperpigmentation. You think it's melasma.
So she has a pretty typical picture of a hormonally and sun-mediated condition called melasma. When women kind of point to these blotchy spots on their cheeks, forehead, you know, around the mouth, it's typical of melasma. There are two main factors that go into melasma. It's usually a trigger of some hormonal component and then sun. So it's really important that we kind of address both of those issues when we talk about this particular type of pigmentation. She also mentioned that she gets breakouts kind of in the same spot all the time, and it's around the chin. That's another telltale sign of a hormonal issue that might be going on. So I'd have a lot of questions for her about that.
You know, like for instance, me, I didn't start really experiencing melasma until my first pregnancy. And then from there it was on. And then it was like, I couldn't even do things like hot yoga. I felt like it was just flaring it up.
Anything that kind of gets your body hot or overheated can really trigger the melasma to kind of get worse. So it's a condition that once you experience it, you have to be really careful to not exacerbate it.
I think it's definitely going to bring up something though for a lot of people when they are using witch hazel just on its own. That's when you think it's a problem. If it's witch hazel maybe in a product, but then they've got a full skincare routine, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it all depends on your skin type and what you're actually trying to treat and what you're using it for. You know, I think there are a lot of other ingredients that can actually accomplish the same thing. So we really want to make sure that we're not irritating or stripping our skin. If you're really in love with witch hazel, you want to look for a witch hazel that says alcohol-free on it, because a lot of the products that do have witch hazel can also have a high concentration of alcohol, and that's when it tends to be really drying and irritating to the skin.
So here's my skincare routine for the morning. So usually I will start off with just rinsing my face with lukewarm water, and then I use the toner with the soft cotton pad.
So she's using this toner. The main ingredients besides water are niacinamide, there is some soothing extracts, there's panthenol, there's even a mushroom extract that's really hydrating, glycerin. So this seems like an overall really nice one. There is fragrance, and I know as a dermatologist, sometimes you're like, a little side eye to the fragrance, right?
Yeah, especially with someone like her who's dealing with issues like breakouts and pigmentation. Fragrance can be one of those things that can actually trigger, you know, either a dermatitis or an irritation on the skin. So we do have to be careful with fragrance and her skin type.
But as far as everything else in this product, what do you think of it?
I mean, I don't have a problem with her using it. I really don't know how much benefit she's getting from this product. I'd love to see what else she has going on.
Then I'll use these peel pads. I'll spray my face with this.
So she's got these peel pads. They seem to have naturally occurring AHAs in them. We're not sure of the ingredient list. We couldn't find it. Most of the time when they're peel pads that have glycolic or lactic acid or some kind of AHA like that,
acid, yeah,
they usually state it. So I'm assuming it is only fruit extracts, which I actually like fruit extracts. It's actually, you can find fruit extracts in a lot of my products, but they usually help to complement the other exfoliating ingredients. So what do you think?
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think that the fruit extracts, I don't have a problem with them, but I'm looking for something that might be a little bit more effective, a little bit more meaty in this product to add along to that.
Like for her, would you say like a glycolic acid?
I would say a glycolic acid for her. When she's dealing with, that combination skin where she says she gets a little oily, these little bumps, we really want to get an alpha hydroxy acid like glycolic acid on board.
And then she went in to tell us that she's doing this organic rose water spray, and it truly looks like it's just rose water spray. I've actually used this one before, and it's nice. There isn't a lot happening, which makes me like it if you do want to use a rose water spray, but what do you think of it?
Again, I don't have a problem with her using the rose water spray. I think for her it might feel calming and soothing to the skin. It's really about what benefit is she getting from it.
And I'll use this essence. I have this vitamin C serum that I use.
It looks like she's going in with a lot of products. So going from just kind of using a witch hazel in the morning to now we've got a decent amount of products. So now she's going in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Water Essence. This has glycerin, some niacinamide as well, coffee extract, some HA, coconut water, which can be very hydrating again to the skin. So it's hydrating, there's some niacinamide. What do you think?
So I think she's doing a lot of different steps right now, but I'm not seeing too much benefit to any of these steps yet. Each product on its own, there's a slight, kind of hydration or a slight benefit that she may be getting, but I'm really looking for something a little bit more powerful for her.
Powerful.
Yes.
We're looking for the powerhouse ingredients.
We are.
Yeah. She does have then for you the Tree of Life Vitamin C Serum. This one has glycerin, aloe, sodium ascorbyl phosphate, which it actually is it's a derivative of vitamin C, but still has a lot of benefits.
Absolutely. She's actually using now a product that has some true benefit to her skin. It's a milder product. Again, I would love, to see how she does with it and then slowly work our way up in terms of the percentage of vitamin C that we're using, but it's a good place for her to start. It's not going to irritate the skin.
All right, so you're basically saying as we keep going, even when she gets into something that could be one of her powerhouse actives, her vitamin C, she's still going really mild. So everything is just really gentle and mild.
Yes, especially because one of her main issues is the brown spots on her face. And with a condition like melasma or even just sun damage like sunspots, vitamin C in a good form, in a good percentage, is going to be really important to your daily skincare routine. Not only is it going to protect the skin from developing new pigment, it's actually going to help fade some of that old pigment. So she's on the right track, but I'd love to see her pick a vitamin C that's a little bit more robust.
Followed by the hyaluronic acid, and then this moisturizer.
So then she throws on her hyaluronic acid serum. Again, like you said, very gentle. And I'm also noticing a trend here. We're starting to see that she still uses a lot of witch hazel, right?
She does. A lot of her products do tend to have that in it.
Yeah, so maybe she likes that refreshing feel. So that's something to keep in mind. You're addicted to that refreshing feel, which maybe a little bit isn't too bad, but I think as you layer it, right, it's too much.
I think so. I think we could actually really kind of cut down the amount of products she's using with some higher concentrations and some better ingredients.
Okay. And then following that trend of the gentle, mild products, she's going in with her e.l.f. moisturizer, which looks like it has great ingredients for a moisturizer, but again, very gentle.
Yeah, and what I would love to see her do is simplify things. So she's using a hyaluronic acid serum, and then she's using this moisturizer. I'd love to see her pick a product that's moisturizing with hyaluronic acid, save her, that extra step, and really, hydrate the skin without creating any breakouts.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna see her go in with her 2 sunscreens, and I like that. I do. I wanna hear what you think of it.
And I use 2 sunscreens mostly. Well, to get extra protection, and also because this one kind of gives me a white cast and this one's tinted. That's my morning routine.
This gets interesting. She does take her sunscreen very seriously. She's using 2 of them. She's got the CeraVe hydrating one, which is an SPF 30, and then she's got the tinted mineral one, which actually is an SPF 30 also, and it has titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. So I actually think she only needs to do that one, the tinted one, right?
I agree. You unfortunately can't add up the SPF 30 that you get from one sunscreen and the SPF 30 that you get from another sunscreen and create your own SPF of 60. It unfortunately doesn't work that way. So I actually think that she could really simplify her routine and just use one of those sunscreens. The most important thing for her, because she has that pigment, she has that melasma, I would recommend the physical sunscreen. So the titanium and zinc is not only gonna protect her from UVA and UVB rays, but it's gonna protect her from blue light as well, which can be a trigger for melasma. And she really wants to make sure she's reapplying. For her, with that condition, reapplication of her sunscreen is so important.
And you know, I will throw out there, I have shown myself using 2 different sunscreens. One is like a main sunscreen that is what I'm getting like most of my protection from, and then I'll throw on something like a tinted foundation. And when you guys see me do that, it's because the tinted foundation doesn't give me enough protection, and that's the only reason why I put it on, and it's not for the protection per se. Like then I'll say like, well, I guess it's like added protection, but maybe I'm just not getting enough. Like maybe it's under an SPF 30, or you know, I know that there was one that I use that I love a lot that doesn't have UVA and UVB protection, or it's not strong UVA protection. So to me, having that main sunscreen that I'm really relying on for my protection is what I'm doing there.
Absolutely.
So at night, I'll usually start with this cleansing balm and then this facial cleanser. I again spray my face with this, use the essence. I'll use this retinol.
She uses the Physicians Formula Matcha 3-in-1 Melting Cleansing Balm, which I hear is actually really great, and I still have yet to use it. I love that she's doing a double cleanse. That's awesome.
Yeah, especially because she is acne prone and she's getting these little bumps on her forehead and some breakouts on her chin. I think the double cleanse is a great idea for her. I really want her to make sure that when she goes to bed at night, she's, you know, going to bed without any of that makeup or even sunscreen left behind on her face.
And then she goes back in with that rose water, same with the essence, and then she goes in with a retinol serum. I'm excited to see that because it's definitely an ingredient I know you're gonna say that she needs in there, right?
She 100% needs that ingredient. Not only is the retinol great for anti-aging, but when you have pigment, the retinol is great for that, you know, kind of exfoliating, that sloughing off of some of that superficial pigment. So everyone I see who has melasma, if we can work a retinol or a retin-A into their routine, we absolutely do.
When you look at this though, I kind of heard you go like, what are you thinking with this retinol?
So I just think that this one, she could do better.
Yeah.
She could find a more powerful product to use so that it would be more effective for her.
This one looks like it's an oil. There is witch hazel again in this product as well. I think this is one of those things where the retinol is really buried. Like this says it's a retinol serum, but in some ways it's really more of just a gentle oil that has some retinol benefits in it.
Yes, agree. So we want to pick something that, you know, is going to be a little bit more effective. And the other thing is there's quite a few oils in this product. Those that have acne, you know, it's really individualized which oils you can and can't use. For her, because she is complaining of these tiny little bumps all over her forehead, I worry that this product might be a little bit too occlusive for her. So we have to look at that.
And then this niacinamide with zinc. Eye cream I usually will put on, which I forgot to do in my morning routine. I also put that on before the sunscreen and before the moisturizer. And then I've used this cream last for my nighttime routine. Thank you.
So she uses the ordinary niacinamide 10% and zinc. I think this is a great product. This is something that I would say to use before her retinol serum though, right?
Typically, yes. Because her retinol is so mild, I worry that anything she puts on before might actually kind of obscure some of the benefits of that tiny amount of retinol that she's getting.
Will be no longer retinol.
Yes, when we do get her on a stronger retinol, then yes, let's put the niacinamide on first and then add your retinol after that.
That makes sense. Or she could even move the niacinamide to the morning.
To the morning, yeah. Absolutely.
And then she's gonna go in with the CeraVe Eye Repair Cream.
I think that's a great hydrating under eye cream. Gentle enough, not gonna trigger any breakouts.
And then last is the CeraVe Skin Renewing Night Cream, which seems like it's a pretty rich night cream. What do you think about that?
CeraVe is great in terms of the fact that it can provide that hydration. It can really rebuild the skin barrier. It can feel like a very rich cream in terms of the hydrating properties, but it really is well tolerated by all skin types.
So the thing with this routine, there are a couple of things going on. Too many products.
Too many products.
That are doing nothing.
Yes, agree. Some very mild, kind of hydrating products that I think she can do without.
Yeah, so what would you like to see in her morning routine first?
So in her morning routine, I love the idea of peel pads. I love alpha hydroxys or beta hydroxy acids. I may love for her to kind of get a peel pad that has active ingredients like glycolic or salicylic acid, because she is dealing with some of that breakout that we want to kind of address. So the benefit of both the alpha and the betas are really going to help calm down the breakouts and help the exfoliation process. So I would urge her to get a product that's a little bit more active.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you're saying that it can even maybe be a combo one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people don't understand why they want the two different ones. Why would somebody choose just the AHA type of peel versus one that's a combination?
Yeah, so alpha hydroxys and beta hydroxy acids, they work a little differently. Alpha hydroxy acids work by gently exfoliating the top layer of the skin, whereas the beta hydroxy acids are actually going to get into those pores and they're going to kill things like the P. acne bacteria. So I love adding the beta hydroxy acids for individuals who complain that they're dealing with some breakouts.
And then would we basically just kick everything else to the curb and then throw in a vitamin C?
I would urge her to, up that strength of vitamin C, especially because she's dealing with the pigment. Vitamin C is going to be one of her best friends. And we may even want to throw in another brightening agent. So a brightening agent that we love and that we've talked about is alpha-arbutin. This is a perfect person to kind of get that on board.
Yeah, I love alpha-arbutin. I introduced 2 alpha-arbutin products in my own skincare line, and I use it morning and night. People wonder that. Can they use it morning and night?
Yes, you can. I love it as like a hydroquinone alternative to brightening the skin. So I think it's really safe and very effective, and I love to use it in my melasma patients because they need products that they can use for longer periods of time.
We don't really love the vitamin C that she's using, right?
I think she can do better.
Yeah.
This is a great entry point, and I love that she's using a product with vitamin C, but if she finds that after a few weeks of using this, she's not noticing that her skin feels brighter, I would actually have her increase the percentage of vitamin C that she's using.
And maybe even move to an L-ascorbic acid.
Possibly.
Okay. Eye cream we're kind of like saying, okay, introduce these actives into her skincare routine, but then get rid of all the hydrators. What tends to happen is when you buy like a vitamin C serum or an alpha-arbutin serum, they can either come combined, right? Or you can buy them separately, and they also tend to have hydrators. So that's one of the reasons why you also wouldn't need any of these extra hydration products, right?
True. And then I worry about this particular moisturizer for her because she seems to be one who clogs quite easily. She seems to be one who tends to get these little whiteheads or comedones, as we call them. And this moisturizer tends to be a little bit thick. It has shea butter in it, and I worry that it might actually be contributing to some of the breakouts that she's getting. So I actually would love for her to pick a moisturizer that's non-comedogenic so that she can hydrate the skin but isn't worried about actually clogging.
And then when it comes to her sunscreen.
So yeah, in terms of her sunscreen, I would actually have her use the CeraVe Mineral Hydrating Face Sunscreen. She's got the titanium and zinc on board, so that's gonna be great in terms of protection from UVA and UVB rays and blue light, which is, things that can all trigger her melasma. I would just urge her, if she's gonna use that mineral sunscreen on top, to know that she's really not adding that much more sunscreen protection. The tint is great to help get rid of that, grayish whitish cast that the CeraVe is leaving on her skin, but please don't forget to reapply your sunscreen.
And the only reason why we're choosing the CeraVe over the Ulta Beauty one is just because it has a little bit more of the titanium dioxide and the zinc oxide, right?
Yeah, it has a higher concentration, so it's gonna be a more effective sunscreen.
And then if it is leaving a white cast, maybe it's about using that up and then finding one sunscreen that covers all the bases for you. All right, now moving on to her nighttime routine. What do we think? So the cleansing balm, totally fine.
I'm okay with her using this cleansing balm. I think, if she's using sunscreen or makeup, I want to make sure she's breaking down anything that's on her face to really have a clean face at night.
And then the Super Greens Nourishing Face Cleanser.
I love the fact that she's doing a double cleanse. Again, with, acne prone skin, you want to make sure your skin is super clean at the end of the day.
Then she goes in with that rose water, the same essence. We would just kick those out, right?
I would get rid of those. I think it's just extra steps that aren't really benefiting her skin as much as she needs.
Yeah, and then as far as the retinol serum goes,
because she does have these breakouts, because she is congested, I'd love for her to pick a retinol that is a little bit more active. A retinol that doesn't have a lot of oils in the product. So something that's gonna be more effective on her skin.
do you think she would really benefit from a Retin A?
She would.
Yeah.
So if she could get some of that cell turnover, that exfoliation, she would start to notice a lot of that bumpiness around her skin. and some of that pigment really start to peel.
And then on top of that, so when somebody's using a niacinamide serum, if they do use a Retin-A, can they use the niacinamide before or after Retin-A?
So, the rule of thumb is your products should be thinnest to thickest. So if we're talking about a Retin-A, they typically tend to be creams and gels. So I would have her use her niacinamide serum first and then use a prescription strength Retin-A after that.
Okay, that's really good to know. And they'll probably complement each other,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Whenever you start a Retin-A or a retinol, you can expect a little bit of irritation on the skin, and niacinamide is great to calm any irritation down.
You love the eye cream, so that would stick around, right?
I do like the CeraVe eye cream. I think hydrating the skin around the eyes is a great way to just look a little bit more rested, to add some plumpness back to that area. So I do like that cream.
And then as far as the CeraVe Skin Renewing Night Cream, what do you think about that?
I do like this cream. I think the science of CeraVe is really, really proven. The ceramides are great to help rebuild her skin barrier. And the fact that she's gonna be starting a retinol, she's gonna want something a little bit more hydrating on her skin at night.
All right, so that was Monica's skincare routine. I'm really excited to see if we hear back from her. And she says that she kicked all those hydrating ingredients out and she brought in some of the actives, because that's what we really want to see.
We want to see some of those powerhouse ingredients, Monica.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have any questions, leave them below in the comments. You can find Dr. Desai on Instagram. You want to tell them where they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Dr. Nina Desai on Instagram.
I'll also leave all of her information in the description box in case you want to look her up. Maybe you're in Manhattan Beach. You can also go see her for an appointment. I am also on Instagram. I'm at Susan Yara, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.